What if the key to unlocking a life free from fear and filled with unwavering strength has been within you all along? The first keynote, the cornerstone upon which the edifice of fearlessness is built, speaks to the profound and transformative power of anchoring ourselves in unwavering truth. For a targeted religious audience, this concept resonates deeply with the understanding of a divine foundation, an eternal and immutable reality that stands firm amidst the ever-shifting tides of human experience. It is about identifying, not merely intellectually acknowledging, but deeply internalizing the core tenets of faith that offer solace, guidance, and an unshakable sense of security. This process transcends a superficial understanding of doctrine. It demands an active and continuous engagement with the fundamental principles that define our spiritual understanding. We are called to delve into the sacred texts, to contemplate their meaning, and to allow their wisdom to permeate the very fabric of our being. This isn't a passive reception of information, but an active seeking, a yearning to connect with the essence of what we believe to be true and everlasting. Consider the parables and teachings that speak to the enduring nature of divine love, the promise of unwavering support, and the ultimate triumph of good over adversity. These are not simply stories or abstract concepts. They're living truths meant to be embraced and embodied. When we face the inevitable storms of life, the anxieties that gnaw at our peace, the uncertainties that cloud our judgment, the fears that threaten to paralyze us, where do we turn for solace and strength? The answer lies in the depth of our connection to these foundational truths. If our understanding remains shallow, if these principles are merely intellectual assent rather than deeply felt convictions, they offer little resistance to the onslaught of fear. Therefore, the process of anchoring in unwavering truth requires a deliberate and consistent effort. It involves regular immersion in the sources of our faith, be it scripture, communal worship, or personal reflection. It necessitates a willingness to question our own assumptions and to seek a deeper understanding of the timeless wisdom that has been passed down through generations. This isn't about blind adherence, but about an intelligent and heartfelt engagement with the core tenets that define our spiritual identity. It's about allowing these truths to become the lens through which we interpret the world and our experiences within it. Furthermore, internalizing these truths goes beyond mere intellectual comprehension. It demands a transformation of the heart and mind. It requires us to actively apply these principles to our daily lives, to test their validity in the crucible of our experiences. When faced with a challenge, do we instinctively default to fear and anxiety, or do we draw upon the wellspring of faith that assures us of a greater purpose and an ultimate good? The more we consciously choose to align our thoughts and actions with these unwavering truths, the more deeply they become ingrained in our subconscious, forming a powerful and resilient inner core. This anchoring is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process, a continuous recalibration of our inner compass. The world constantly bombards us with messages of fear, doubt, and insecurity. To counteract these forces, we must be vigilant in reaffirming our commitment to the truths that sustain us. This might involve daily prayer, meditation, or contemplative reading, practices that serve as anchors in the turbulent waters of life. It also involves surrounding ourselves with a community of like-minded individuals who share and reinforce these core beliefs, creating a collective strength that bolsters individual resolve. The power of this first keynote lies in its ability to shift our fundamental perspective. When we are firmly anchored in unwavering truth, fear loses its potency. It no longer has the same power to sway us, to control our thoughts and actions. This is because our sense of security and stability no longer rests on the shifting sands of external circumstances, but on the solid rock of eternal principles. We understand that even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, there is a higher order, a divine plan, a love that endures. This understanding doesn't eliminate challenges, but transforms our response to them. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, we can face them with a sense of inner peace and the unwavering conviction that we are not alone and that even in the darkest of times, there's hope and purpose. This deep-seated conviction is the essence of true invincibility, a spiritual resilience that no earthly tribulation can ultimately overcome. It is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the transformative impact of anchoring our lives in the unshakable truths that lie at its heart. The second key note in our journey towards overcoming fear and cultivating inner invincibility centers on the vital practice of cultivating inner resilience through spiritual disciplines. For a targeted religious audience, this resonates with the understanding that our strength doesn't solely derive from external circumstances or human capabilities, but rather from a deep and consistent connection with the divine and the nurturing of our inner spiritual life. Just as a garden requires tending, weeding, and consistent watering to flourish, our inner being needs deliberate and sustained attention through practices that nourish our spirit and fortify us against the inevitable challenges and anxieties of life. These spiritual disciplines are not mere rituals or obligations. They are intentional acts of devotion and self-care that build a reservoir of inner peace, strength, and unwavering faith. Consider the profound impact of prayer, a cornerstone of many faith traditions. Prayer is more than just uttering words. It is a sacred dialogue, a direct line of communication with the divine source of all strength and comfort. Through prayer, we pour out our hearts, our fears, and our anxieties, and in return, we receive solace, guidance, and a renewed sense of hope. Consistent and heartfelt prayer cultivates a deep sense of connection, reminding us that we are never truly alone and that there's a higher power watching over us. This awareness fosters a sense of security that directly counteracts the feelings of isolation and helplessness that often fuel fear. It allows us to tap into a strength that transcends our own limitations, providing a bedrock of resilience in times of trouble. Meditation, in its various forms within different religious traditions, also plays a crucial role in cultivating inner resilience. Whether it's contemplative prayer, mindfulness practices rooted in ancient wisdom, or simply moments of quiet reflection on sacred texts, meditation allows us to still the incessant chatter of our minds and connect with a deeper sense of inner peace. In the stillness, we can become more aware of our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. We learn to observe fear without judgment, allowing it to pass without taking root and controlling our actions. Regular meditation trains our minds to find a center of calm amidst the storms of life, fostering a sense of inner equilibrium that is essential for resilience. Furthermore, the study and contemplation of sacred texts serve as a powerful spiritual discipline. These texts are filled with stories of faith, courage, and perseverance in the face of adversity. By immersing ourselves in these narratives and reflecting on their deeper meanings, we draw inspiration and learn valuable lessons about how to navigate our own challenges. The wisdom contained within these texts offers guidance, perspective, and a reminder of the enduring power of faith. This consistent engagement with sacred knowledge strengthens our understanding of our spiritual heritage and equips us with the mental and emotional tools to face fear with greater clarity and resolve. Acts of service and selfless giving are also integral to cultivating inner resilience. When we focus our attention outward towards the needs of others, we transcend our own anxieties and tap into a deeper sense of purpose and connection. Helping those less fortunate than ourselves reminds us of our blessings and puts our own challenges into perspective. The feelings of compassion and fulfillment that arise from serving others strengthen our inner spirit and create a sense of interconnectedness that diminishes feelings of isolation and fear. Engaging in acts of kindness and generosity is not just beneficial for the recipient. It nourishes our own souls and builds inner strength. Finally, communal worship and fellowship play a vital role in fostering resilience. Gathering with fellow believers provides a sense of belonging, support, and shared strength. Hearing testimonies of faith, participating in communal prayers, and engaging in discussions about spiritual principles reinforces our own beliefs and reminds us that we are part of a larger community united by shared values. This sense of belonging and mutual support creates a safety net that can help us weather difficult times and face our fears with greater courage, knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. In essence, cultivating inner resilience through spiritual practices is about actively nurturing our relationship with the divine and strengthening our inner spiritual core. Through consistent prayer, meditation, study of sacred texts, acts of service, and communal worship, we build a reservoir of inner peace, strength, and unwavering faith that acts as a powerful shield against the debilitating effects of fear. These disciplines are not merely tasks to be completed. They are pathways to a deeper connection with the source of all strength and the cultivation of an unshakable inner fortitude that empowers us to face life's challenges with courage and unwavering hope. The third pivotal key in our spiritual journey to dismantle fear and attain inner invincibility lies in the transformative act of shifting our focus from the often turbulent waters of self-absorption to the expansive and healing ocean of service and connection. For a devoted religious audience, this principle resonates deeply with the core teachings that emphasize love for neighbor, compassion for the afflicted, and the profound interconnectedness of all beings within the divine tapestry. When our attention remains fixated on our own anxieties, our personal struggles, and our perceived inadequacies, fear finds fertile ground to take root and flourish. The walls of self-concern can become prisons, amplifying our worries and distorting our perception of reality. However, by intentionally directing our energy outward, towards the needs of others and the cultivation of meaningful relationships within our spiritual community, we begin to dismantle these self-imposed barriers and discover a strength and purpose that transcends our individual fears. Consider the teachings that repeatedly call us to look beyond ourselves, to extend a helping hand to those in need, and to embody the very essence of selfless love. These are not merely suggestions for virtuous living. They are profound spiritual practices that have a direct impact on our inner state. When we engage in acts of service, whether it's volunteering our time, offering support to the vulnerable, or simply extending a listening ear to someone in distress, we step outside the confines of our own concerns and connect with the shared humanity that binds us together. This outward focus has a remarkable effect on our own fears, often diminishing their power and perspective as we witness the challenges faced by others and recognize our capacity to make a positive difference in their lives. Furthermore, cultivating genuine and meaningful connections within our spiritual community serves as a powerful antidote to fear. Isolation and loneliness can often exacerbate feelings of anxiety and vulnerability. When we feel disconnected from others, we may believe that we have to face our fears alone, which can be an overwhelming prospect. However, by actively nurturing our relationships with fellow believers, by building bonds of trust, support, and mutual encouragement, we create a network of strength that we can draw upon in times of need. Sharing our struggles with others who understand our values and beliefs can provide comfort, perspective, and practical assistance. Knowing that we are part of a supportive community reminds us that we are not alone in our journey and that there is strength in unity. This shift in focus from self to service and connection is not about neglecting our own needs or suppressing our feelings. Rather, it is about recognizing that true well-being and inner strength are often found in the act of giving and receiving within a supportive community. When we prioritize the needs of others and invest in meaningful relationships, we create a virtuous cycle. Our acts of kindness and support often return to us in unexpected ways, bolstering our own resilience and providing a sense of belonging that counteracts feelings of fear and isolation. The focus moves from inward scrutiny, which can breed anxiety, to outward engagement, which fosters a sense of purpose and interconnectedness. Moreover, This outward focus aligns us more closely with the divine principles of love and compassion that are central to many faiths. By embodying these principles in our interactions with others, we not only alleviate suffering in the world, but also cultivate a deeper sense of spiritual fulfillment within ourselves. This alignment with higher values provides a sense of meaning and purpose that transcends our individual fears and anxieties. When we feel that our lives are contributing to something larger than ourselves, our personal worries often recede into the background. The focus shifts from our own limited concerns to the boundless potential for good that we can achieve through connection and service. In essence, the third keynote encourages us to break free from the self-imposed limitations of fear by intentionally directing our attention and energy towards serving others and nurturing meaningful connections within our spiritual community. This outward focus diminishes self-absorption, fosters a sense of purpose and belonging, and aligns us with the core principles of love and compassion that are fundamental to our faith. By embracing this principle, we discover a profound truth, that true strength and invincibility are often found not in isolating ourselves from the world, but in actively engaging with it in acts of service and love, recognizing our interconnectedness and the power of collective support in overcoming the shadows of fear. The fourth and culminating key in our spiritual ascent towards fearlessness and inner invincibility centers on the profound act of embracing transformation through faith and unwavering trust. For a dedicated religious audience, this principle resonates deeply with the understanding that our journey is often guided by a higher power, a divine hand that shapes our paths and offers solace in times of uncertainty. Recognizing that growth and the overcoming of fear frequently necessitate stepping beyond the familiar confines of our comfort zones and surrendering to the unknown with a deep-seated trust in this guiding spiritual force is paramount. This isn't about passive resignation or a denial of our responsibilities. Rather, it is an active and conscious choice to release the need for absolute control and the anxieties that invariably accompany it, embracing the transformative potential that lies in faith-filled surrender. Consider the numerous narratives within sacred texts that illustrate the power of faith in the face of adversity. These stories often depict individuals who, when confronted with seemingly insurmountable challenges, chose to place their trust in a higher power, leading to unexpected breakthroughs and profound personal growth. These examples serve as powerful reminders that our own understanding and capabilities are often limited, and that there is a wisdom and a plan that transcends our immediate comprehension. Embracing transformation through faith involves acknowledging these limitations and willingly surrendering to a larger purpose, trusting that even in the midst of trials, there's a guiding hand leading us towards growth and ultimate good. This act of trust is not always easy. Our human nature often inclines us toward a desire for control, a need to understand and dictate every aspect of our lives. Fear often arises from this perceived lack of control, the anxiety of the unknown, and the potential for things to deviate from our plans. However, the spiritual path towards fearlessness invites us to relinquish this tight grip and to cultivate a deep and abiding trust in the divine order. This doesn't mean we become passive bystanders in our own lives. Rather, it empowers us to act with courage and conviction, knowing that our efforts are supported by a force greater than ourselves. It allows us to step forward into uncertainty, not with trepidation, but with a sense of hopeful anticipation, trusting in the unfolding of a larger plan. Embracing transformation through faith also involves recognizing that challenges and moments of discomfort are often catalysts for spiritual growth. Just as a seed must break through the hard ground to blossom, we too often need to be pushed beyond our comfort zones to realize our full potential. Fear can act as a barrier to this growth, holding us back from embracing new opportunities and facing necessary changes. However, when we approach these moments with faith and trust, we can view them not as threats, but as opportunities for transformation. We can learn to see the hand of a higher power guiding us through these experiences, shaping us into stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate individuals. Furthermore, this principle encourages us to cultivate a mindset of possibility rather than one of limitation. Fear often thrives on negative assumptions and a belief in our own inadequacy. However, when we embrace faith, we open ourselves to the boundless possibilities that lie beyond our current understanding. We begin to trust that all things are possible with divine guidance, and that even seemingly insurmountable obstacles can be overcome. This shift in perspective from limitation to possibility is a powerful antidote to fear, replacing anxiety with hope and empowering us to pursue our goals with greater courage and determination. In essence, the fourth keynote invites us to embrace the transformative power of faith and trust in our spiritual journey. It calls us to release the need for absolute control, to recognize the guiding hand in our lives, to view challenges as opportunities for growth, and to cultivate a mindset of possibility. This deep-seated trust in a higher power and the unfolding of a divine plan empowers us to step beyond our comfort zones, to face the unknown with courage, and to overcome the paralyzing grip of fear. It is in this surrender, this unwavering faith, that we discover a profound and enduring inner invincibility, a spiritual resilience that allows us to navigate the complexities of life with peace, confidence, and the unwavering assurance that we are held and guided by a love that knows no bounds. In closing, brothers and sisters, let us carry these four spiritual keys within our hearts. Let us commit to anchoring ourselves in unwavering truth, cultivating inner resilience through consistent spiritual practice,